Missiles are flying over Tehran. At the same time, sirens are screaming in Tel Aviv. It's 26. Iran and Israel are at war.
Haven't they always been enemies?
That's what most people think. But no, 2,500 years ago they were allies.
Allies? Really?
Not just allies, one of them saved the other.
Who saved who?
Persia saved the Jewish people from slavery. A Persian king freed them and sent them home.
Persia. That's Iran?
Yes, ancient Iran was Persia. So here's the question. How did 2,500 years of friendship become a war?
What went wrong?
Let's go back to the very beginning. To a king named Cyrus the Great. About 2,500 years ago, the Jewish people were trapped. They were prisoners in Babylon, far from home. Then Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon.
So he took them as his own slaves?
No, the opposite. He freed them, all of them. He issued a decree.
Decree? What does that mean?
An official order from a king. Cyrus's decree said the Jews could go home. They could rebuild their temple in Jerusalem.
Is that real or just a story?
It's in the Bible, and it's on a clay cylinder in a museum. For hundreds of years after that, Jews lived well under Persian rule. Even centuries later, when the Sassanid Empire came along, Jews actually welcomed the Persian army. Persia wasn't just an ally, it was a protector. Okay, now let's jump way forward to the 1950s. Iran had a king called the Shah. He wanted Iran to be modern, like a Western country. So he made Iran secular.
Secular. That means no religion in government, right?
Exactly, keeping religion out of government. In the Middle East, that was huge. Most countries didn't do that. And here's the surprising part. Iran became the second Muslim country to recognize Israel.
Second, who was first?
Turkey. Iran opened an Israeli embassy in Tehran. El Al, the Israeli airline, flew direct from Tel Aviv to Tehran.
Direct flights? That's hard to imagine now.
Right? And it goes deeper. They built weapons together, torpedoes, missiles. Israel bought Iranian oil through the port of Eilat. It wasn't just politics, it was trust. And then, 1979, everything changed. Iran had a revolution, the Shah was kicked out. A religious leader named Khomeini took over.
What kind of government did he make?
A theocracy.
Like a country run by priests?
Close religious leaders making all the big decisions, not elected politicians. And Khomeini's first big move? He called America the Great Satan.
What about Israel?
The Little Satan. He cut all ties with Israel immediately. And the Israeli embassy in Tehran?
They closed it?
Worse, they gave it to the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization.
So this was just about religion?
Not entirely. The roots go back to World War II. Nazi Germany had supporters in the Middle East.
Nazis in the Middle East?
Many people there hated Britain and France for controlling their lands. When the Nazis fought Britain, some in Iran cheered.
And that feeling never went away?
Never fully, the Shah ignored it, but Khomeini turned it into a weapon. Now, here's where it gets really strange. In 1980, Iraq attacked Iran. A brutal war started. Iran was completely alone. The West wouldn't help. The Soviet Union wouldn't help. There was an embargo on Iran.
Embargo? Is that the same as a sanction?
Close. A sanction can punish in many ways. An embargo specifically blocks trade, no weapons in, no oil out.
So Iran couldn't get weapons from anyone?
Well, from almost no one, and this is where it gets wild. Israel helped them.
Israel helped Iran?
Israel secretly sent weapons to Iran. Even after the revolution, even after Little Satan.
Why would they help their enemy?
Because Iraq was next door, Iraq was the bigger threat. So Israel helped Iran survive for 8 long years.
So Iran was grateful after that, right?
No, when the war ended, Iran denied everything. Israel never helped us. That's what they said.
That's kind of ungrateful.
Yeah, you'd think they'd at least say thanks.
Well, it's hard to thank your Satan.
Exactly, and that's the thing about this relationship. It was never just about feelings, it was about survival. And later, Iran would build something that terrified Israel. But we'll get to that. So, Iran can't attack Israel directly. They're too far apart. But Iran found another way.
What way?
They started a proxy war.
Proxy war? What's that?
It's when you fight through other groups instead of fighting yourself. Like using someone else's hands to punch your enemy.
So who are these hands?
Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Palestine, the Houthis in Yemen, and groups in Syria and Iraq. Iran gave them money, weapons, and training.
That's a lot of groups.
That's the point. Iran built a network. They called it the Axis of Resistance, a chain of allies surrounding Israel from every direction.
So this started recently?
No, actually, this goes back decades. Iran built military bases in Syria near Israel's border. Israel bombed those bases again and again.
A secret war?
Exactly. A shadow war. No one declared anything. Iran wasn't just fighting Israel, it was building a wall around it. Now, while all that proxy war was happening, something covert was happening, and by covert I mean totally secret.
Like spy stuff?
Exactly, done completely in the shadows. Israel's spy agency, the Mossad, was busy. They were killing Iran's top nuclear scientists.
Killing scientists?
Yes, in 2020 they killed a scientist named Fakhrizadeh. And the way they did it sounds like a movie. They used a remote-controlled machine gun controlled by AI.
AI like a robot?
Basically, yes, no one was even there. The Mossad also set fires at nuclear sites. They stole secret documents, entire archives.
Did Iran fight back?
They tried hacking attacks, ship explosions. They even planned assassinations in other countries.
In other countries?
Yes, here's how bad the relationship got. FIFA won't even put Iran and Israel in the same group. The Olympics keep them apart during the opening ceremony.
Even in sports?
Even in sports, and all of this was still just the shadow war. Remember when I said Iran was building something scary?
The nuclear program?
Yes, Iran started working on nuclear enrichment.
Enrichment? Isn't that the same as refining?
Not quite. Refining cleans something up. Enrichment makes it stronger. High enrichment can make a bomb. And Iran was pushing the levels higher and higher.
So Israel could just bomb the sites, like Iraq?
No, Iran learned from what happened to Iraq. They spread their nuclear sites across the entire country. They built fake sites to confuse satellites. They buried the real ones underground. They bought Russian S-300 missiles to shoot down any planes.
So it's basically impossible to stop them?
That's what scared Israel the most. Iran is far away. Their country is nearly 4 times bigger than Iraq. Netanyahu said it publicly. The 3 biggest threats to Israel are Iran, Iran, and Iran.
Iran, Iran, and Iran.
And that nuclear fear, it pushed everything past the point of no return. 2024, the covert war finally became an open one. In April, Israel bombed an Iranian building in Syria. Not a military base, a diplomatic building.
An embassy?
A consulate close enough. Iran was furious, and for the first time ever, Iran launched missiles directly at Israel.
Directly, not through proxies?
Directly, that was April 2024. Israel hit back hard.
An eye for an eye.
Exactly, and the cycle just kept going. Then in October, it got worse. Iran's supreme leader personally ordered nearly 200 missiles at Israel.
200 missiles?
200, and Israel struck back again. Decades of proxy wars, decades of covert attacks.
From allies to this, in less than 50 years.
The shadow war was over, the real war had begun. June 2025, Israel made a decision. They launched a massive attack on Iran. Nuclear sites, military bases, air defenses, all of it.
How long did it last?
12 days. According to reports, in 12 days, Iran's nuclear program was in ruins. Key scientists were dead, facilities were destroyed. Iran's air defense system was wiped out.
So the war ended?
A ceasefire happened, but Iran lost badly. Years of work on nuclear enrichment, gone. Imagine this. You've spent decades building something, your best people worked on it. You buried it underground, you built fake sites to protect it. And in 12 days, it's all gone.
That's decades of work, just gone.
That's what happened to Iran. The economy collapsed, prices skyrocketed. And the Iranian people, they were angry. Not just at Israel, at their own government. After the 12-day war, Iran was falling apart from the inside. The economy was destroyed, prices were out of control.
How bad was it?
People lost their jobs, their savings, their hope. And an uprising started.
Uprising? Is that like a protest?
Bigger, a protest is people holding signs. An uprising is people fighting the system, risking their lives.
What were they fighting for?
Freedom. Women took off their hijabs in the streets. People shouted against the theocracy. They wanted a secular country again. They blamed their leaders for the war, for the poverty.
What did the government do?
They crushed it with force. Many people died.
That's heartbreaking.
And even after all of that, Iran's leaders said they would rebuild the nuclear program.
After everything that happened?
The country was burning from the inside. But the government kept looking outward at Israel, at America. February 28, 2026. No warning, no declaration of war. The United States and Israel attacked Iran together.
Without even declaring war?
Without declaring war. The Americans called it Operation Epic Fury. The first target, Iran's supreme leader. Khamenei was in his bunker. The bomb hit it directly. He was reportedly killed, along with most of Iran's military leaders.
Most of them at once?
The defense minister, the chief of staff, intelligence leaders. Dozens of commanders gone in one strike. Iran's navy was destroyed in 4 days. Reports say over 150 ships were sunk. Their air force was gone too.
That fast?
4 days. But here's what made the world stop. An American missile hit a school. A girls' elementary school in southern Iran. Reports say at least 175 children died. Most were 7 to 12 years old.
Children?
The Pentagon said it was a mistake. Old data, wrong target. And on top of all this, and here's the thing, the IAEA reportedly found no clear evidence of a nuclear weapons program.
Then what was the war for?
That's the question a lot of people are asking right now. The war didn't stay in Iran. Iran set up a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz.
A blockade? Like blocking a road?
Like blocking a door, but for an entire sea route. No ships in, no ships out. Think about what that means. A huge amount of the world's oil passes through that strait.
So oil prices went up?
Way up, everywhere. Iran's allies attacked back. Missiles hit countries across the region.
Which countries?
Dubai, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, almost everyone. Saudi Arabia reportedly canceled the Neom City project.
The huge futuristic city.
Gone. Canceled. Korea's stock market crashed. Gas prices jumped everywhere. Airlines canceled flights across the Middle East.
What about the World Cup?
Iran refused to play any games hosted in America. One war, and the whole world felt it. So, where are we now? Iran is split in two. Some people celebrated when Khamenei died.
Celebrated.
Others called him a martyr and swore to keep fighting.
So who's leading Iran now?
Khamenei's son reportedly took over as the new supreme leader. The uprising quieted, negotiations were tried, both failed. The big question is ground troops. Nobody wants to send them.
Because of Afghanistan and Iraq?
Exactly. America went in, fought for years, then left. Nobody in the Middle East trusts that America will stay. And no other country has joined the fight.
Nobody?
America asked its allies to help break the blockade. Not one country said yes.
So how does this end?
Nobody knows, and that's the scariest part. 2,500 years ago, a Persian king freed the Jewish people. Today, their descendants are at war. So let me ask you something. Cyrus freed the Jewish people with a decree. For 2,500 years, these two people shared history.
And then it all changed.
One revolution, one leader, one choice. That's all it took to turn 2,500 years of friendship into war.
Enemies aren't born. They're made.
That's exactly it. So here's the question I want to leave you with. Can these two countries ever go back? Can 2,500 years of friendship mean something again? Or is this a road with no way back?
I honestly don't know.
Me neither. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Next time, we'll look at what happens when a war like this drags on. What happens to the people caught in the middle?
I want to know about that.